I'd like to welcome you all to our council meeting this evening. Do you have any citizen comments today? All right. We have 3 people. Mr. James Afna.
All right, well, I want to thank you all for the performance we had last time at the Strategic Planning Committee, so to speak. And I think that was a really good meeting and one of the best I've seen in the city. And something has been gnawing at me coming out of that meeting for the last week now. And I like everything. I'm delighted we have a little inquiry sheet here. And the one thing I wanted to be sure that we didn't miss that I think we may have was we want to do all of these things, and I wish we could implement them and hope we can. But I wanted to know what we were going to do for our citizens, how we were going to reward them, if there's a way to do that. I know we have to finance these things that we want to do on the taxes of our citizens, but is there a way that's going to be tangible and payable to them that they can see something that's some sort of a payback? So it's a kind of an enforced question, but if you give it a little time to sink in, you may get there. Thank you.
Thanks. Randy Hadley.
Good evening.
Hi, Brandy.
Hi, my name's Brandy Hadley. I'm a new business owner in town. I'm looking at the Trailhead Building as a cruising cafe.
Could I ask you for your address, please? For the record.
Oh, 47434 Highway 58.
Thank you.
And the reason I'm approaching council today is because I'm going to pass this around for you guys. As a new business owner in town, I'm not real sure if you know procedures, policies, things like that. However, this past Monday morning, I was paid a visit at the Cruisin' Cafe by Don Meyer, which is one of the electrical inspectors from the building department. Apparently someone lodged a complaint so that I was rewiring the building and making alterations without a proper permit and contractor. When Mr. Meyer arrived, he asked me if I was doing any rewiring. I told him no. All of the wiring that was in the building was pre-existing. I showed him the plugs in the dining room area that were already put up on the wall. The conduit was in place, everything was there, and I explained to him that all we did was plug in a 4-foot shop light to, plug it in. And he proceeded to tell me that that was illegal, and that I had to have a permit and a licensed electrician do that for me. And I asked him if he could show me the law and where it said that I couldn't plug a light in and affix it to my ceiling. And he went out to his car, made a few phone calls, he even gave me some codes that I did look up. It was ORS 479550 and ORS 479540. And neither which stated that I couldn't just, plug a light in. Anyway, he proceeded to red tag my building, even after I explained to him that we didn't do any rewiring in there. I proceeded to contact the state electrical inspector, ran it by him, let him know exactly what I installed. I sent him an email with a picture of the light and everything. He said there's no reason that my building should have been tagged. So I contacted his superior, Don Meyer's boss, and explained to him the situation and asked if a different inspector could please come out, look at my building, and take the tag off. Mr. Mortier came out the next day, didn't really make much of a comment, said everything was fine, and took the tag down. I guess my question is, first of all, I feel that Mr. Meyer, as an employee of the building department who's contracted by the city, should know his job. We pay the building department and their employees a lot of money to know their job, and it's obvious that either Don Meyer doesn't know his job or he had an agenda to force a permit that was not needed. I guess my question is why they would do that to a new business, come in, say something's wrong, tag the building when he could clearly see that there was nothing being done illegally, and then just walk out of the picture. No apology from Mr. Mortier for them tagging the building, holding me up for 2 days of work in the building, postponing my opening. And I just feel that since they are contracted by the city, that you guys should be aware of the treatment as a new business owner that I got. Thank you for listening.
Okay, thank you.
Question,
Yes, sir.
did he actually tag you out?
Yes, I have a picture of the tag on the door.
Just,
Would you like to see it? I mean, it's on my phone,
that's
but I can
I'll
show you
take
the
a picture
picture.
of that.
Picture of it.
Yeah, just for your information, the electrical inspector is actually a state inspector, he's not a county inspector, he's not a city inspector. They pretty much do what they want to do, and believe me, you're not the first person to have a problem with electrical inspector. We have them all the time, everybody has those problems.
Out of
And the
curiosity,
fact is that they don't feel that they answer to anybody, and that's just pretty much the way they do it.
out of curiosity, why doesn't Lane County provide the inspections as opposed to?
The state, he has to be a state license. Well, if you're in a city, like you're in the city of Eugene,
Mhm.
they have their own inspectors and they actually do have their own inspection service. But as far as in the county, and we're outside of the city, you're getting a state inspector.
So if we were saying in Eugene, would a Lane County inspector come as opposed to?
Well, see, I don't know who called what the whole story, but there's more to this story than what you and I know, I'll tell you that right.
I would like to know who made the complaint. I mean, it was made to the city administrator, which wouldn't that make it a matter of public record?
Yeah, but there was no complaint made to me.
Really is a city
I
administrator.
didn't send anybody down to your place. Because you can ask, I will tell a person if a complaint comes in, I'll give them the name.
Mr. Mortier, I asked him, and he said that the call was made and put to the city and talked to the city. Sounds to me like he came with an agenda, did what he needed to do
Yeah,
and left.
I'll have to ask Mr. Mortier,
I mean, I feel targeted. As a new business, I really do. I feel targeted. You know, I'm here for the community. I'm hoping to be able to, you know, eventually provide maybe, 10 jobs for people here in town and have employees and.
We're more interested in having a place to eat.
Well, we'll have
You tell them,
that.
Les.
It's gonna be the Cruise In Cafe?
Yeah,
What's the new name?
Cruise In Cafe.
Cruise In.
When are you thinking of opening, please?
Hopefully by the 15th. We'll see.
With or without lights, right?
I have one question, I guess.
Candle it is.
And my question is this just one of these normal lights that you use anywhere if you're?
4-foot shop light. yes,
For a
sir.
shop?
Yeah.
It's not one that, it's a
They're
temporary.
on
light, is it?
chains. They're hanging
Yeah,
on
temporary
chains.
light, in other words.
Yes.
And a plug in,
Portable.
thanks to it.
Plugged in with a cord.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's crazy.
With a plug in.
thank you.
and council, I will follow up with the building department and find out
C-O-L-O-S-E.
what's going on in regards to if there's gonna be any further follow-up with it or not. Because I would have expected someone to say something to them, so I will follow up on that piece.
Like, I'm sorry.
If they ask you about, that you asked if you had to put all them conduit,
It is, the conduit's already up, and when Dave Mortier came and he looked and he could see that the plugs are coming straight from the lights into the deal, he didn't say anything about, he's like, oh, there's your new lights, yeah, great, awesome. I mean, they don't have to be, he said they were fine.
Okay, thank you. We'll see what we can find out.
Thank you.
Cameron Anderson?
For the record, I'm Cameron Anderson, and 47618 Riverview Road, Street is my address. And I'm here to ask permission to park within the 5 feet of the road to have access to park, along with our own private property, to get permission to park on our own property as well as public parking. My husband requested I ask permission before I go to the tax assessment and get all of the, building codes and such like that to point out if we do in fact have access to park. I understand we're not supposed to build on this property, even within 15 feet of our own property, you're not supposed to build anything. But it's my understanding when I did all of my construction and stuff, when I purchased a barn and I had everything that I needed to do certain things. I was made aware that, at least out in the rural or the country area, you cannot build within a certain amount of feet from your own private line, so that way there's access to sewers and such like that for the cities and such like that.
Where is
I'm not
where's
really
this
upset
private
with it.
property, or public property you're talking about?
47618 Riverview. It's right in between Rainbow and, I don't know the other street. Oh wait, School Street.
47, you're on Riverview, so
Yeah.
you're in between, where Clone Road comes in on the west end, and it abuts to Garden. So Garden on one end, and then Clone Road comes in on the other. So you're at which end? Closer to Garden Road?
Kind of right.
In the middle? Okay. Your Honor, if you could, if you want to stop by tomorrow, go ahead and bring what it is. And then that way I can figure out if I need to, A, if it's something that I can handle, or B, if I gotta take it to the planning commission.
Okay.
Okay, because most of the land use stuff is gonna fall under the planning commission. So if you want to stop by and see me,
Sounds great. I want to get
And
everything
then-
just right.
and then you can show me what you're wanting to do, and then I will take it to the proper folks.
Thank
You
you.
bet.
I'm gonna exit before everybody starts because that's my interest. Have a good evening.
Mayor and council comments.
I have a comment,
Yes, sir.
or comments.
Okay.
After our strategic planning, I agree with James, that was an exceptional start, I thought, to where we're going with this. And I look forward to the next few months of being able to work on that and really create some plan. We had paper all over the wall with all kinds of stuff, and it was exceptional. But also, that next morning, I was reading something, and this was part of the literature that I think Jeff Smith has printed up, that you gave us after that.
Oh, yeah, he mentioned to me, we got that put together for you guys.
This was Oregon Economic Opportunities Analysis that was done in June of '07. And in reading this, it says, talking about Oakridge, it says, in-migration is likely to affect population growth in Oakridge. The people most likely to settle in Oakridge are people who value Oakridge's rural setting and quality of life. Oakridge is likely to attract retirees, people who are willing to commute to Eugene and Springfield, and people wanting to work in Oakridge or open a business. It goes on to talk about an aging population, where it says the number of people aged 65 and older in the U.S. will double by 2050, while the number of people, under age 65 will grow by 12%. So I'm reading this, and what came to me is that we were talking in part of this conversation about the industrial park and creating jobs and ODAC and the OIP and et cetera. What I'm seeing in our country today is we're not an industrial society anymore. We're more of a service society. And I'd like to see us really start to focus ahead of the curve instead of behind the curve. We have a real problem with healthcare in this community, whether it's urgent care or assisted living or whatever. We have one of the most beautiful places in this country to live, and we are not using the resources that we have, whether it's the hot springs that we have outside of town, or the rivers, or the trees, or... So what I'd like to see us do as a community, and we can talk about this further as the strategic planning goes along, is let this become our industry. The healthcare, the well-being. This is something Oregon is known for. We don't, and what I would like to see, even to the point we talked about how the industrial park, maybe we could split it to where part of it's industrial, part of it's commercial, that maybe ODAC could look into the possibilities of what it's going to take to mitigate that front section possibly into a commercial zone. I know us changing the zoning is not a problem, but it's that mitigation of the hazmat and what it takes to do that. Leave the back section where the rail spur is as the industrial site. But to really start to focus on this, we mentioned also in that meeting about, and I've mentioned it, about the possibility of hiring an economic development director, someone on a contract basis. Gary and I have talked about this. So they're not an employee, so we're not having to pay PERS and retirement and all this stuff. And they're very incentive tied into it. And really start to focus on this. You know, we have some resources here that are valuable, but trying to turn the industrial park into an industrial park with the limitations we have when we don't live in an industrial society just doesn't make a lot of sense to me. And we have a beautiful place to live that we can create into a place that people want to come. And tourism right now is our industry. So to me, that's kind of the first step, is everybody getting behind that and promoting that and talking about that, because that is what is going to bring these people in. And I'll stop there.
Thank you, Counselor. Anybody else? I have something. You may have noticed that our meetings have been getting far too long. Part of that is because we have allowed a lot of audience participation, which I like, but unfortunately it runs us into the dark hours of the morning or something. So what I'd like to do is get back to what the statutes actually say, and that is to not cut conversation off from the public, but if people have something to say pertinent to what is being discussed on the dais here, then they need to hold up their hand, and I am so far been recognizing everybody, and it's really not the way it's supposed to be. It's supposed to be if somebody wants to recognize somebody in the audience that's got their hand. There's actually somebody as the council. Also on the counselors, because I can't see out of the side of my ears very well, I would prefer that you actually vocalize what you might get my attention. Otherwise, Mr. Mayor, hold up your hand. I don't see that all the time, and so I would appreciate that, and then maybe we can move things along. And if anybody's got any suggestions on how we can move it along better without getting too formal and stiff, I'd appreciate that.
I'd like to do something here. Category. This is the Oregon Department of Forestry. Biomass 101, and introduction to biomass market and opportunities. Oakridge Elementary School, Oakridge, Oregon. That's what this, I'll take that for this time. Learning objectives. Provide information on biomass value available from the Willamette National Forest. This can talk about a lot of time.
Can I interrupt you there a little bit? Because I believe that was going to be put on the agenda a little later, was it not?
Yes, it's on there.
It's on there for old business, but it depends on the council on how long you want to keep John sitting
Well,
there.
if we want to, actually, we haven't really gotten into the meat of the matter yet, but if you want to have John, when we get into that, we put it under
Be happy to, Chairman.
something else.
Okay, I will.
Okay. But thanks for bringing that up. Is there any other council comments or? All right, consent agenda.
Mr. Mayor, I move that we approve the consent agenda.
Moved by Councilor Clark, seconded by Councilor Baser. That we approve the consent agenda. Is there any discussion?
There's a correction needs to be made on
Okay.
page 7.
Page 7.
Maybe I'm wrong, but.
Correction would be,
And down towards the bottom, under goats, it says Jeff Smith gave a similar report, and I think that's supposed to read Ben Beamer gave the report.
oh,
No, they were talking about the third board's meeting that Jeff gave the report that he gave here. It might not make sense.
okay.
That's all right.
All right.
I removed my comment there.
Any further comments? All right, call for a vote.
Mayor Shorey,
Aye.
Councilor Baseler, Councilor Coe,
Aye.
Councilor Fortune,
Aye.
Councilor Clark,
Aye.
Councilor Biggerstaff,
Aye.
Councilor Slavin,
Carrie.
Oh, she's back!
I forgot she was back. It's been empty for so long. Don't you feel water?
Moving right along,
We'll speed these meetings up a bit. All right, I'm sorry. But by the way, welcome back.
Well, thank you.
Don't care much for your tan, but welcome back.
That was good then.
All righty.
Unless it's from us.
I like it. Administrative services, 6.0, 6.1, the city administrator's report.
Council, everyone, thank you for being here. As we know, I'm not going to report on Atherton much anymore because it is in motion and the auction date has been set for August the 13th. So that is in stone now. So on that date, as I've stated in the past, is we will have our set amount of what's owed to us, approximately $89,000. So if anyone bids, that's where the bid starts. It starts at 89. If nobody bids, that's a credit to the city and we get our building. So that's where we're at.
What was that date again?
August the 13th. And one of the reasons that date is significant is before a balloon payment is due. So we want to get it done before it gets to that point.
What building is that?
Pardon?
What building is that? Is that a building you say?
Yeah.
It's on.
They're trying to formalize this a little bit, man, so you need to.
This is the building out at the industrial park, the electrical building, the yellow building on the right.
So anyway, that's where I was at. In regards to the bond, as you know, I did get a letter back. I think a number of you have read it, and if anyone else wants to read it, it's in my office. And then I think Susan and I are going to do one more letter back to them. And if y'all want to read what that last letter is going to be before I send it, then just stop by and look at it. Because we're basically going to pull out all the bolts and nuts and bolts and just go at it and see if we get any movement from these guys. So. Feral Cat Coalition. One of our citizens left some money to the Feral Cat Coalition, which is in Portland, to be used in Oakridge, Westford, and High Prairie, and which is about $40,000. And as you know, the folks in Portland aren't going to want to give up that $40K to our area. So I did contact the city attorney to work on this for us because I do believe that the city and the area does have an interest in these funds. And so they are working on trying to see if we can get some movement on these funds. So. And that would also help finish the battery out of their money. So that's where I'm at on that. And that's all I have. Everything else that I have is in the agenda. Are we on additions and corrections, Your Honor?
I skipped by that, so I think we ought to go back to it.
You'll see on your desk, and my apologies, I've been sick most of the week, so I didn't get that to y'all. Memorandum of understanding between Oakridge and Westford Fire Services, and I'll explain that to the audience when we get to it. Okay. And also, last thing is, we are signed up for our town hall meeting for April the 16th at 7 p.m. down at the auditorium. And basically, this is to let the community know where we're at, where we're headed, and also some further introduction of the strategic plan. So before we actually have a meeting with the community, because part of the strategic plan is community input. So that's all I have.
I would like to add one other thing, probably under old business. We've been dealing with the chamber and the chamber issues. And I would like to bring folks up to speed as where we are on the TRT committee, advisory committee.
I can touch on that if you like.
Yeah, that'd be good.
So on the TRT committee, and again, I've been sick, so tomorrow I am going to send out a notice to the paper for a 2-week period asking for a hotel member for and what TRT is transient room tax committee, and then also for a hotel owner and a citizen at large. So I will be sending that vacancy notice out tomorrow for a 2-week
Two
period.
vacancy notices, hotel, motel, and,
Yeah, I'll do one for each.
yeah.
Yes, so one for a citizen at large and one for a motel owner, so, we have a motel owner.
Well, I don't know, kind of has, I guess Gary's place would be kind of a hotel. Sort of, kind of
A
sort of,
lodge, yeah.
yeah.
So, that's it, so, the mayor felt that it would be better on those two positions that it be a council appointment. And so, and which I agreed with him, and so that's why that's gonna be coming to you all. Hopefully in the next meeting, we can appoint those folks. But tomorrow, I hope to have some draft stuff for, community services stuff to look at. Anything else? Are you good with that,
And
Mayor?
we would, yes, and we will be putting together what that committee's going to be doing. I can put it together for the council approval, or I can get together with the city administrator and we put together. It's a fairly low-key committee, only meets twice a year, or as needed. And some of the reason there's only 2 appointed positions, they're all appointed, but there's one position's a chamber has a position on there, so that's an automatic. And the community services chairman of the community service committee, and the chairman of the administrative services committee, and the mayor, city administrator, so it's mostly a city committee. And this is to sort through the grant requests that we get every year. We have taken, the council, or the chamber has decided they don't want to do that anymore, and we agree with that. So they're going basically, that committee will be determining who will get those funds on those requests that come in, which will probably be coming in, if they haven't already, pretty soon. That's people like the Where's Waldo and the Fat Tire Festival, and all those people put in for just to bring people up to speed with it. Do you have anything else?
And Your Honor, and I think the other piece where we haven't really had it outlined really well is the TRT, the actual transient room tax money. We really haven't had a policy, so for example, let's say council gave $10,000 to the chamber. Well, there's $10,000 left, okay? So I know that one of the items that we're looking at is website this time, okay, and some other things. But we don't really have an outlined policy for that other $10 or $11,000 that's usually there. And that money can, really be used for a lot of different things. It can be used for sprucing up stuff at the park. It can be used possibly for grants for businesses on Highway 58 or businesses in general, to buy paint or whatever, those kind of things. So I think that's maybe something I'm gonna ask Community Services Committee to try and work on, is that side of the pie. We don't really have any real guidelines on how to set that money out, so.
I would hope maybe we could prevail upon the Community Services Committee or the Administrative Committee to put together something for the council to deal with.
Well, since we have a meeting tomorrow at 10,
9:30,
we posted 10, didn't we?
10 o'clock's the Amtrak meeting. Well, they're the same.
Wait, I combined them.
Yeah,
Okay.
okay.
So
We're
I
trying to
combined-
get some business done before we have the Amtrak meeting.
We'll do,
Okay,
we'll
that's
do
fine.
both.
We can go with it.
Well, I put 10 and I put both of those on as our subjects.
So what time you want us here?
Well, he's the chair, so, we posted it at 10,
I believe so, yeah.
so because we legally posted it at 10, we can be here at 9:30, do some work, but 10 o'clock, just a legal posting. So 9:30? That's all I have, Your Honor.
Is there anything, any other old business to be put on the agenda? This time, if anybody wants to deal with it? Yes, sir.
Just, as far as that policy concerning how we're gonna use the TRT tax money, or the TRT money,